Pop quiz to start us off. How long have I been training in the martial arts? 25 years. Yeah, that answer was
25.
in the introduction. Nice. So here's one that wasn't in the introduction, but we all hang out a lot. So maybe somebody knows. Does anyone know how old I turned this past September?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a lot of
30
fingers there,
because you
Freddie.
started at
Yeah.
5.
30. I love it. Yeah, no. 40. It's wild. I still cannot comprehend it, especially since I'm doing the same thing that I was doing 25 years ago. I'm playing dodgeball and gaga and running around barefoot at work, playing karate with 5-year-olds. I'm even hanging out with the same people that I was hanging out with 25 years ago. Parents bring their kids to train with me, and I have to remind myself that they aren't 15 years older than me anymore. I'm a decade plus older than them. Like, I'm the grown up. It is weird. And I actually started my journey in Toastmasters for exactly that reason, because it was time to stop being terrified of grown ups. Seriously, adults, like all of you, it scared me. And I wanted to stop feeling that way. And I would say at this point, I'm halfway there, living on a prayer for most of my projects. Taking on the effective communicate or the effective coaching path was not something that I was excited about, but that's not why we're here, right? I needed to push myself out of my comfort zone and put myself in a leadership role with some real live grown-ups. I wanted to see if I could break out of the safe little bubble of the dojo, the martial arts school, and stop ending up with sweaty armpits every time I had to talk in front of adults. Uh, Doing all right today. Not too bad. I can remember way back the first time that I really felt like I held my own teaching in adult class. And I didn't know it until the class was actually over. I was still sweating the whole time, and not because I was working that hard teaching. See, I've always been uncomfortable teaching the adult class, as you can imagine. I avoided it whenever possible. I still kind of do, if I'm being honest. My instructors were so good, so talented in the martial arts. I always felt severe imposter syndrome. The kids are easy. They have so much that they're trying to develop physically and mentally and emotionally. There's always ways that I can have a positive impact on them. They mostly just want to be entertained, anyways. So you throw in some character development to make the parents super happy, and you're good. You did your job. But adults know. They'll see through me. They'll be thinking, she's not the real deal. She doesn't deserve her rank. She can't really fight. She's not making sense. She's scared. She's stumbling. She's wasting my time. Those were the voices that were blaring in my head that day. I was a fourth degree black belt at the time, so getting close to testing for mastery, which is fifth degree, 5 stripes in my system. I was in my 20s teaching people 30, 40 years older than me. Some were pretty close to my own rank. I was feeling completely overwhelmed by imposter syndrome, and that 1 hour might as well have been a lifetime. How was I going to survive? So, you know what I did? Not really proud of it. I decided to mail it in. I decided to coast through the class just so I could survive. And I don't know if any of you know anything about the martial arts, but a lot of styles have what are called forms or kata. They're longer choreographed sequence of movements that simulate a multiple person fight. So they're designed to teach principles and ritualize practice. Now, our style is conveniently curriculum heavy. So by the time someone tests for black belt, they've learned 11 forms. That's before they ever even put a black belt around their waist. And then at each degree of black belt, there are two more forms that you learn that are even longer than the under black belt forms. So there I was, afraid to move because then these adults would see through me and they'd know I was an imposter. And that's why when I decided to mail in teaching that class, I started all the way back at the beginning with the lowest ranking form. I said some stuff that I hope sounded smart about what the principle that what the form was designed to teach. I was hoping that they wouldn't think I was dumb. And then I'd just tell them to do it. Sometimes more than once to stretch the clock. For an hour, they simply did their forms with me giving them a couple of little nuggets and things to think about or pay attention to. Was I proud of it? Not really. Did I survive? Thankfully, yes. I was so grateful when the clock finally hit the hour and I could bow them out and escape. After class, one of the third degrees, so a guy that was one rank below me, and the dad of a couple of my peers came up to me and he said, "That was an awesome class. Based on that class, I can tell you're ready for mastery." What? Dude, I mailed it in. I mean, I didn't tell him that. No, no, no. I said, "Oh, thank you. Thank you so much." It took me a while to rectify that comment. I felt like I had done the minimum, and that was the response that I got. But he was right. I still have a ton to learn. Part of mastery is starting to realize just how much more there is to know, that you're never really done. But forms are my jam. I love training forms and I love teaching forms. And when it comes to that teaching, I have achieved a level of mastery. I just had to get out of my own way, calm down that scared little voice in my head, and embrace it, embrace the skill that I had earned. As I explored this new venue for coaching through Toastmasters and the effective coaching path, that lesson from years ago has served me well. There are three key elements, three layers that have stood out as I reflected over the years. Because that day has come back a few times in my memory. It's interesting how we have those pivotal moments in our journey. And if we take the time to sit with them, there are some amazing things that we can learn. The first thing, the first of the three, is corny. So corny and cliche. I hate to say it, but it's true. To be an awesome coach to others, you first have to coach yourself. You have to do the work on you. You have to gain the leadership skills, the communication skills, and of course, the practical experience and expertise in the field you're coaching on. You have to hang out your own dirty laundry so it doesn't stink up the joint while you're trying to serve others. You've got to look in the mirror and let go of the idea of someday arriving at the perfect you or having all the answers. You have to be willing to accept your flaws and shortcomings while simultaneously persisting in the quest of constant and never ending improvement. There's a duality there that's hard to hold, but it's essential to becoming someone that deserves to be put in a coaching leadership role. So many cliches, mirrors and laundry and loving yourself. But before you can love others, you have to first learn to love you. Before you can expertly coach others, you have to learn to coach yourself to earn the right to be a coach. And then, second, you have to create a space for others to do their inner work. That class was successful because I got out of the way. I let the expertise that I developed trickle out at appropriate moments, even though at the time I felt like I had no idea what I was doing. I had a group of disciplined, talented martial artists, and I gave them just enough to start to teach them to expertly coach themselves. I didn't need to wow them with skill or know vast wisdoms beyond their level. In fact, that is the best way to lose someone you're coaching, to make it all about you and what you know. One more cliche that's so true. The teacher opens the door, but it's the student that must choose to walk through it. Coaching is opening the door and then giving some nudges in the right direction. What if, what if you try this? What if you look at it from this angle? Or Freddie's go to, I wonder if little nudges, sometimes bigger shoves when they're ready, but it's their work to do. Hopefully, you already did a good portion of yours. Let it be their turn now. Do the inner work to learn to coach yourself, create the space for others to do their inner work. And then finally, a mantra gifted to me by my teacher's teacher, an amazing mentor that we lost way too soon. If you solve all your problems to the benefit of others, nothing will be denied you in this lifetime. If you solve all your problems to the benefit of others, nothing will be denied you in this lifetime. The best coaches are still learning, still growing. The best coaches are giving selflessly, graciously, and gratefully. The best coaches understand the synergy, the mutual benefit that can be created by opening the door, opening the space for someone else to rise and shine. Do the work, open the door, and nothing will be denied you in this lifetime.